25, 26, 27, and a bunch more are going to be talking about rationalizing the denominator. If I have a fraction that's under the square root, I could rewrite it as the square root of 3 over the square root of 10. It's like they're both under the square root. When they talk about rationalizing the denominator, they want you to eliminate the square root from the denominator of your fraction. If I could reduce, I would first, but I can't reduce down 3/10, and so I split it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by whatever the denominator is to make the denominator a perfect square. So I'm going to multiply by the square root of 10, and if I do that on the bottom, I have to do it on the top to make an equivalent fraction. Square root of 3 times the square root of 10 is the square root of 30. Square root of 10 times the square root of 10 is square root of 100. The 100 now should be a perfect square. The square root of 100 is a plain old 10. 30 I don't think I can simplify, so I'm going to leave that as the square root of 30 over 10. Notice the square root is just over the top number, not over the whole fraction. So when you punch that into Alex, you should hit the fraction button first, because otherwise if you try to do the square root of 30 and then hit the fraction button, it's going to put the 10 under the fraction, and you don't want it underneath the fraction button. So 26, now in this one I have 10/6. 10/6 can be reduced down, so I probably want to reduce that down first and say, oh, well that's equal to the square root of 5/3 then, right? Simplifying that then, it's the square root of 5 over the square root of 3, and I can go ahead and rationalize my denominator by multiplying by the square root of 3. So I get the square root of 15 over the square root of 9. 9 is now going to be a perfect square, which is just the 3. And so I'm going to get square root of 15 over 3. By the way, I can't simplify unless they're both under square roots or both not under square roots. If one is under the square root and the other one is not, I can't do any reducing it. This won't work that way. Number 27, again, we have a fraction 2/5 that we can't reduce. We know that means the same thing as the square root of 2 over the square root of 5. So if we're going to rationalize our denominator, we're going to multiply by whatever's in the denominator, which is the square root of 5. Square root of 2 times the square root of 5 is the square root of 10. Square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is square root of 25. That should now be a perfect square. The square root of 25 is 5. So we get the square root of 10 over 5. And that's simply going to be our answer.